Good morning, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to this morning's live, our time this morning. We are here with Mahima, Anna, and myself, and we are reflecting this morning on the theme of death and resurrection. And it is a theme that is really close to our hearts, connected to the higher art of living we feel, that is ready to be released into the world, actually, again. So before moving into our reflection altogether, we would like to take a few moments, everybody who's here live now, to align with the field of this theme, the theme of death, the theme of resurrection, and to close our eyes for a couple of minutes and feel how it is today with us, and start connecting with our breath, the breath of life. The breath is the ever-guiding star in our life. It starts with the first breath when we come into the earth realm. And it brings us all the life energy throughout our lives until the last breath. So just connect for a second with this life-giving source. Full of prana. And just arrive fully in this sacred moment where we are all together here. And reflect inside of ourselves a little bit deeper about our relationship with the theme of death and feel into this field of resurrection and connect to our inner relationship with resurrection. And connect to the consciousness that is us, and connect to all of us here in this life and watching this recording later. Feel the deep connection we all hold and the wisdom we hold. And if a prayer is rising in your fields, let it rise and bring it into this field. If you feel you're ready to slowly open your eyes, please do so. And if you want to keep your eyes closed during this conversation, that is also perfectly fine. Welcome everybody who came in a little bit later. we will be sharing our insights on the theme of death and resurrection, which is connected to a beautiful chamber in the Temple of the One Heart of Mary Magdalene School. And we would like to share that we have changed the name of one of these precious chambers in the temple into the name of Chamber of Resurrection. And Mahima is holding this chamber with us in beautiful meetings that are around this theme. So Mahima, I would love to give you the first word now about the Chamber of Resurrection, and maybe you want to share a little bit about what this is for you, this Chamber of Resurrection and the theme of resurrection.
I would love to. It's one of my favorite themes in life. I usually refer to it as having a very close relationship with death. And it's one of my favorite topics to move into a close dance with and understand my own life and others, and also the connection on the soul level. This is why this chamber is so sacred to me, because I feel this inner knowing that this is something that I carry with me, to be like a death doula, a sacred sound space holder for people to come into a restful place. We usually refer to dying as we say rest in peace when people have died. But I really believe that life is a road of different opportunities, a transit where we can rest in peace. This is when we come home. We come to be at peace with what is in our own lives. And maybe we are having the experience of somebody transiting. Somebody is in their close experience with the possibility of resurrecting. And I think there are levels of resurrecting. And it all is about how close we come to that experience. So the chamber of resurrection for me is a space where you can come in and be held and feel into, beyond right and wrong, how am I now with what is occurring in my life, what is dying, what is possibly resurrecting. So a continuous possibility to have a time out space of everyday life and just be held in sounds that supports this, because we are made out of sound. We make all kinds of sounds all the time, and sound is vibration. And when sound is sacredly held, there is an opportunity to see ourselves and to feel ourselves and to be in connection in a more transparent way of where are we now. So as you hear, I could go on and on about this. It's really, really sacred to me, and I feel so blessed to have this opportunity. And I want to add also that when this came about, it was so important that this happens in the now, that the chambers are not recorded. It's like they are extra sacred in this time where we can access things all the time and things are being recorded all the time. It kind of gives it to a field where we think I can do this later. But if something is presented, this is now, we choose on a different level to commit to, I give this to myself now, and I can be anonymous. Nobody needs to know this. I can come in, and this is also only for myself. I choose to come in. because we are intertwined as humanity, and it's so easy to do things for others or habitual, or we think this is benefiting somebody else. So this is for me, and it's in the now. These are two strong pillars. Yeah.
We felt since the beginning of the temple that this theme of death and resurrection is so important, because within our society or in our religious backgrounds, maybe there is so much to free up inside of ourselves around the theme of death and resurrection. We're so often not used of taking on death as a part of our life until the moment it reaches us in the physical form of having to let go of someone or something that brings us into this process of mourning, where we have no place, we've had no place to practice about in our lives. So it's really close to our hearts to bring in this theme, not only for the moments when we have to let go of someone that is dear to us, for example, but also in everyday life, in the small moments. So I'm really glad that we have the opportunity to bring that into the field for all of us. So thank you for taking that on. Yeah.
And it's also, we spoke about this way of understanding death and resurrection is another way of understanding it is the impermanence of all things, and coming to peace with impermanence, with the ever-changing life flow, which is natural. It's connected to smaller and larger cycles within our lives. We actually experience death many times a day in small ways, where we can practice consciously experiencing death many times a day, because it is a practice. I really feel strongly that it is a practice. And then we also are experiencing, for example, now this major death of a civilizational cycle, and then moving into the resurrection of our human family in a new form. So these are different cycles.
Yeah, there's so many layers we can talk about death and resurrection. I would love to hear, maybe you can share a little bit on that also, Mahima, what in its essence death means to you.
Oh, wow. Then maybe we need to go longer than we expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Death is, it's on many layers. For me, I want to connect with what you said, Anna, the death in every day, the death that is experienced in through our breath, through our going to sleep, through our letting go, and the possibility to really practice sacred letting go. Because sometimes we are like little children. I don't want to. And it's being ripped away. And there are so many different processes of the death. So I believe that life really is the possibility of becoming really good friends with death. And to see that it's not something to be pushed away. Looking in society, sometimes it's like, we don't believe we're going to die, or what is this? There is this possibility of preparing in a way of tuning in, where am I now? Because we move through different phases in life. And even if we have somebody who is psychic or read our palm leaves or something and have a potential death date, we don't really know. Because there are so many timelines and so many choices and so many micro moments where our life might change completely. So it's a death of the old life. So the most important thing, or the practice in life, I think, is to look into how willing am I to let things die?
Mm.
How can I take away the obstacles in myself? How can I accept? So these like preludes to dying, to really being at peace, is acceptance and forgiveness. They are so present. To accept that the world is not like it was. And there are joyful things about that. But there is also, of course, things to mourn and things to give space for them to die, so that they can die in a more natural way.
Mm.
So my relationship to death is very healthy, I would say. And depending on who you talk to, I mean, that sounds like a joke, or it sounds like a deep spiritual practice and a coming home. So I believe we're coming home through death.
I love the way that you say that it is a deep spiritual practice, because I feel that very much as well. And one of the themes that we spoke about was that maybe larger than the fear of death is actually the fear of the unknown, not being able to control outcomes, not having any clue actually what's going to happen if we actually let go of the current scenario that we know. And maybe you can say a few words about that.
Absolutely. I feel that this is something that we are being presented with as an opportunity over and over and over. And just like breath, it can happen without us even thinking about it. Because most people going to bed do not think about, I'm moving into the unknown, or is my breath going to work during night when I don't control it? So we have this relationship with the unknown naturally within us. And condition and habitual things around interferes with leaning into that and feel that it's actually adventurous to not know. But if you want to control things, it's not an adventure to not know. Then it's highly uncomfortable. So we try to avoid the unknown, even though the unknown is actually, just like change, the only thing we can really count on. We really do not know. And we can find peace with that. So again, acceptance and forgiveness comes in to meet ourselves where we are, I think is the most important. To see, where am I in the unknown?
I think you said something really important there, Mahima, that I just would like to come back to, which is that actually, in some way, we've been conditioned to think that it is uncomfortable to go into the unknown, even though that's the natural flow of life. And yet the reality is that it's uncomfortable to stay in the known. How did that inversion happen?
It's part of the research. So it's part of the possibility. If we want to have something to experience forgiveness in, we need to create something that we can actually be in acceptance and forgiveness. So I would like to draw it to simplicity. So simple facts is taking on a life, a human body, whether we believe it was planned or just by chance. We are all here, experience this life in our bodies, and we will give it back to the mother, no matter what life we live, in what country, in what color. We are here in the same experience. So to connect through that simple oneness experience, because we all have this, and it will end with the death. And that's the same for all. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank or how many clothes you have in your wardrobe, or it doesn't even matter how many experiences we had. It's a common theme. We can come into communion there. And it's so simple that we don't even see it most of the time.
What comes to the surface for me is the whole field of the fear of everything that comes with mourning. I feel that you call yourself a death doula, and I think that's the most beautiful elements of your being that we so much meet when you work and you step into the space, Mahima. And being a death doula, I know you've seen many processes of mourning during the days, but also in very specific moments that someone is passing into the afterlife. Is there something you would like to share about the mourning process where people might feel resistance to or fear of? There.
Again, I would say acceptance and time. Time is a great magician. Coming to dying, we think we are losing the time. That's why most people don't even want to think about death, because it's the end of time being experienced here. So to give it time is like an alchemical shift, because we know when we all experience this is going to end, then it becomes highly precious. It's like our senses are being activated and we experience things. And in that way, in time, we move out of time. And it's held. And we get all we need because we are present. We are fully here with what is happening. And breath is such a deep helper in that.
Yeah.
Because we only know this breath, this breath. It's like giving birth. What do the doulas say to the mothers giving birth? You know, one breath at a time. Or one contraction at a time. And in one way, dying is the same, but it's out of the body. And I would like to say also that I'm, since death doula is a term, I'm not schooled in that way of the schools that are here on earth. I would like to more refrain to myself as a death helper, a death space holder, because sound is what I'm trained in through many lives, to just hold the space. So it's not me helping, it's me being so transparent and so anchored in the not knowing that the highest can be held. Because we die alone. We can die surrounded by love. We go to sleep alone, even if somebody is in the bed next to us. And the breath moves through our own body. And it's a precious gift. And it's also scary. Because alone is weak, is what we are taught.
But yet we know that in our essence, in that highly individualized space, we are actually connected to all.
Absolutely. And that's the passage. That's the passage. But to move through the canal, even if it's this short, when we practiced it many times, it's still a little canal. It's still a little transition.
Mahima, could you talk a little bit about why there's always a resurrection after death?
Because there is no actual death. So, I mean, there can only be resurrection because we are eternal. What we really are is eternal. This is my complete experienced understanding and inner knowing that I lean into again and again. even if in my own life there are things moving, just like in every human experience, we feel things, but the inner knowing, the leaning into that there is an eternal part of ourselves that we can join forces with, we can lean into, we can be held, and we can sit in peace with that part. And then we know resurrection will always occur. Always. Always.
It's so beautiful, isn't it, that by fully embracing death, we come to know that death doesn't exist.
Yeah. And then we're close to that cosmic joke. We make so much fuss over what?
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, my guidance said once, it's not funny until it's funny, but then it's really funny. So don't try to force yourself to making it funny or to make it not matter. So I think moving into it, and this is the choice for humanity now, we can really embrace this huge transition that we are in by moving into it, accepting it fully, not denying it. Things are changing, deeply changing now.
Yeah.
So to accept death and welcome what is to die.
So how does the Chamber of Resurrection support me when I'm struggling through this transformation process?
Yeah, the space. Because the knowing, coming back to again, the knowing that it's in the now, there by itself, it's very sacred. And that you are welcome wherever you are, whoever you are, and you don't even have to show who you are. So there is nothing, it's like a sweat lodge in one way. Because in a sweat lodge, we are in the darkness. So there is nothing to project. We could just be with our own process. And we don't have to analyze it. We don't have to talk about it. We are just held. So the sounds are intuitively coming through me because I connect to the people that are in there energetically. And I ask, may the sounds that are the highest best for the ones who are in here today and for all their relations move through me. May I be transparent enough to not have an idea. And then magic happens through sound. So we are not pinpointing anything that is wrong or celebrating anything that is right. We are in the space where all is welcome, just as it is now. And that is relaxing. And when we relax, we can move into acceptance. And then we can be soft. So the softness is a very big key.
Yeah, there's the softness, there is the allowance, the surrender, it's all there. And it is so precious. And I would like to explain also that we will be holding these chambers several times throughout the year. And that the first one that is coming up is next Wednesday.
The
18th of January. That's the first one. But there will be more coming up, and people can register for those meetings because they will be in Zoom. So they need to receive the link. So just for those who are interested, just that they know that the link will also be coming with this video.
And just before we end for today, I would love, Mahima, if you could give a little bit of your wisdom about maybe guidance when old beliefs are crumbling as they are in such a big way right now. How do we find a space of peace in ourselves with that, with everything being pulled from underneath us?
Do you want to lead us through that as the final saying?
Yes.
We close our eyes?
Yes, I would love to.
Let's do that.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So I invite you, sister, brother, companion, soul family, all that are having this human experience here on earth now. I invite you to close your eyes. That in itself is shutting off all the impressions you have from the outside in the external world, and just move inside. Take the breath and allow it to support you to connect inside. Asking the breath to support calming down. And leaning into the inner knowing, the beingness inside that we all carry. It's a sweet spot inside that we can relax into and see that it's like a fountain of life energy. It's like a golden shower that can cleanse away and support us to become soft. In every moment, we have these possibilities to just lean in. And right now, leaning in by choosing to let go of thoughts, external things, and look inside. And tune in deep inside. Very deep inside. To a restful place where you can breathe and sense things come and go. They are gifts to be experienced. Things come and go over and over. Even we ourselves in this life come and go. But just resting in here, relaxing. Maybe bowing in here to that sacredness, that wisdom in here that knows that things come and leave. That's natural. You don't have to make anything either come or leave. You could just be here. So just breathing here. And sensing that a part of you is always here. Just bearing witness to the circumstances in your life and everybody else's life. So maybe you want to put your hands to your heart, maybe in a prayer position, and just seal this moment. Seal it from your heart out to your hands and feel the connection. Everything is connected, even if they seem to come and leave. And maybe you want to bow your head to your heart as a confirming act. Head bows to heart. Just leaving the thinking mind to the all-embracing, loving heart. And slowly practicing transit, that this little moment we shared right now dies out and we transit into a new moment of slowly opening our eyes and connecting again and remembering we are so blessed. And also remembering we are like the weather. We can change very quickly. And I want to say also to the ones that might be joining the Chamber of Resurrection, I welcome you. I welcome you exactly as you are, whenever it would support you to come into the chamber. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mahima, for this moment that we could share here together. It's always such a privilege for us, these moments together. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for doing what you're doing for the school. We're so deeply appreciative.
Thank you.
I feel so blessed to be able to be part of this. So blessed. Beyond words. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.